There were two big reasons that made me fall in love with UCI. One of the first reasons is that when I toured UCI, I noticed that the student activity was incredibly lively. The first thing that I noticed about UCI were all the different clubs boothing on Ring Road, and coming from a very small school, I was shocked. My high school never had clubs, so seeing that already intrigued me, and also seeing how lively and happy all the students seemed really made me think that this could be a place for home. And I'm a very extroverted and social person, but coming from a small school, I was really worried and scared that I wouldn't be able to find my place in such a big school. And seeing how tight-knit all of the clubs seemed together and seeing how involved all the students were, that was one of the biggest reasons that caused me to choose UCI. The second reason that I chose to come to UCI was seeing all of the resources available to students. I could tell that the faculty really cared about its students, especially considering how many resources were available just for freshmen, and then seeing how many resources were available for students. From things like the student advising office to just the way that the registrar was organized, and also just the financial aid office. I had to go to the financial aid office during my tour just to make sure that my financial aid had been taken care of, and the staff was so nice. And just that minor interaction alone showed me how community oriented and how caring UCI really is for its students, and how happy the students are to be at UCI. And what I love most about UCI is ended up being one of the reasons I chose to come here, and that was the community. At UCI, I have met some of my closest friends that I definitely see me spending the rest of my life with. The clubs that I've joined, I've created such tight-knit bonds, and I could not have done that at any other place. One of my favorite things about UCI is how many clubs are offered, because you can always continuously join different clubs and meet so many new people. And everybody at UCI is incredibly friendly. It's almost scary. So yeah, what I love most about UCI is the community as well.
The reason I choose to come to UCI is because of the diversity of this amount of students. And I learned that from UCI there's a lot of international students from very diverse background. So I believe that UCI is a great place for me to learn, adapt, and basically get to know more people from a very different background from myself, and people that I have not met from high school. Yeah. And the thing I love more about UCI is majority of people are very, very outgoing and basically chill, I would say.
When I think about why I chose UCI, there's a lot of reasons that I could say that a lot of other people would mention too, which is the fact that we're the top school, we're in the top 10 schools in the nation. UCI is one of the top schools when it comes to sustainability. It's a beautiful campus, just walking from one class to another. It's a great experience. It's very relaxing. So there's those reasons, but there's also other reasons why I chose UCI, and I want to say I felt like I belonged here. For me, going to college and going to university is an opportunity to better my life. It's an opportunity for me to reach my goals in what I want to do in my career. So I felt like UCI was giving me that opportunity, but also more. They were giving me resources for me to be a better student. I am a first generation student, and there's a lot of resources for people like me who need help, who need help figuring things out and navigating school your first year. I'm also I come from an immigrant background, and there's a lot of resources at UCI or organizations where you can meet other students that have similar background as myself. So I chose UCI because I felt like I still feel like they want to make sure not only that I graduate, but I graduate successfully, that I have received all the resources I needed to get from my first year to my fourth year, and that is one of the reasons why I chose to come to UCI. When it comes to what do I love most about UCI, like I mentioned, I love the fact that they are so willing to help their students, and like the LGBT center, the counseling center. There's so many little, not little, but like organizations or departments at UCI that are meant for the students to help.
So why I chose to come to UCI, it was definitely something I was unsure of at first. Coming in from high school, I had no idea where I wanted to go to college, and it wasn't until I came for my tour that I decided that UCI was the place that I wanted to be. In the beginning of my tour guide had told me that there's kind of this inexplicable feeling of home, and that this is the place that you're going to want to be at, and she felt that here at UCI. So as I was walking through for my tour, I had kept that in mind, because I hadn't felt that feeling at any of the other college tours that I did take. And as soon as I reached Aldridge Park, I was looking around, I was looking at the buildings, watching college kids pass by, and that feeling resonated with me. I definitely knew that UCI was the place that I wanted to be at. And later that day, I went home and I accepted, and I chose to go to UCI. What I love most about UCI, definitely the academic part. I absolutely love. It challenges me, it pushes me, and it makes me see from so many different perspectives, which I absolutely love. I also love that the campus is so beautiful. I love being able to walk through Aldridge Park on my way to class prior to the pandemic, but I absolutely love that part. It's just a perfect de-stressor, and it makes that walk so much more enjoyable.